Hi, this is Frank Brown of Minuteman Press Uptown with a question for our listeners. How important are business values to you? When you need high quality digital print, it matters who you work with. You see, Minuteman Uptown is unique. We're one of the only union print shops in Minnesota providing our team with living wages and benefits. We believe in second chances for justice impacted individuals who want to contribute to the community. And we are active in local issues. We've been in the streets standing up for racial, social, and economic justice. At Minuteman Uptown, our mission is to connect all communities through technology-driven print solutions. An example of that mission is when I moved Minuteman Uptown to North Minneapolis. We're invested in this local community, and we help small businesses and local organizations throughout the Twin Cities reach their audiences. Reach out to Minuteman Uptown and partner with a printer that shares your values. Call us today at 612-870-0777 or visit us at mpuptown.com. That's mpuptown.com.
Turn to Auto Technical with your vehicle donation. We have families waiting for a car. You know, over 85% of unemployed are successful in finding and keeping a job if they have dependable transportation. A car plus a job equals a life changed. 612-919-5526. We have families waiting for a car. 919-5526 or autotech.org.
Dr. Stefano Sinacropi, an orthopedic spine surgeon and wellness evangelist, hosting the brand new Recharging the Human Battery show on AM 950 radio. My co-host Mandy Dickey and I will delve into various health topics ranging from medicine to nutrition to exercise, emerging technologies, and yes, some way out there stuff. Will provide a balanced view of today's landscape, helping listeners navigate its complexities and hoping to change the way you think about your health. Recharging the Human Battery airs Saturdays at 11 a.m.
Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in four directions. This is Robert Pilot of Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. I'm here to ask you for your support. Finding honest Native-centered news is not easy. But with your support, we're able to provide accurate information about Standing Rock, Line 3, treaty violations, and COVID-19 in our Native communities. Please visit Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon and donate if you can. That's Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Pinigigi, and thank you for your support.
With a look at your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Partly cloudy tonight with a low of 72, then hot sunshine Wednesday with a high of 90. For more than 40 years, the Great Wall Restaurant has been serving up Szechuan and Mandarin favorites. The Great Wall is located just north of 50th in France on the Minneapolis-Edina City line. Check them out at greatwallrestaurant.us.
Portions of Native Roots Radio may be pre-recorded.
It's a good day to be indigenous.
Get up, stand up.
They are going to become more brutal.
Couldn't cut. He need cut again.
Because all the hippies were trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake.
Welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade. Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in four directions. You are listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot. We discuss local, national, and Native news and events. And as you know, Chujunk, Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues.
Yes, you are right, Dega. This portion of the show is supported by Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon.
Hey, I'm here in the motherland here. I'm Black River Falls in a beautiful hotel at the Black River Falls Casino here in Black River Falls.
Wow, that's Ho-Chunk land, isn't it?
That sure is. Well, we like to say everywhere is Ho-Chunk land, but this is definitely where the motherland is right here, and glad to be here. And we got a jam-packed show today.
We do, yeah. While we're waiting for Minnesota Indian Women's Resource Center's president and CEO, Ruth Buffalo, we're going to be having Heather Keeler call in later, and she will be joining with Jay Whiterabbit, who is also Ho-Chunk. So this is going to be a fun show.
Yeah, well, you know, us Ho-Chunks, we have really good sense of humors, and we definitely tell you what we think. So we're the people of the sacred voice. Ho-wah.
Yeah, the sacred voice, Ho Chunk people, the people of the big voice is also something I've heard, which I just got to go and say this. This is kind of funny. I was out with my Jaji yesterday, my dad, and he was getting out of the car. And I always say, your voice kind of carries, Jaj. Your voice is very loud. So I say, you're using your Ho Chunk voice, and we always have a good laugh. But yeah, I think probably the last time I was out in Black River Falls was for the Ho Chunk Memorial Powwow.
Yeah.
And you were there too.
Yeah, I was there, I was secretive, hiding around, had sunglasses on, but yeah, I was definitely there, and it was good to see you and my Hinu out there. And it's always good to go out to Ho Chunk land and watch the powwow. Hey, here's our friend Ruth Buffalo, Minnesota Indian Women's Resource Center CEO. Welcome, Ruth. How's it going?
Good. Dosha, hello. Madzigadods, thank you for having me.
It's great to have you on. And you know what? We're really grateful, Haley and I, and our listening audience, that you can make it with us once a week and give us updates and your perspective of what's going on. So I just want to say a big peeny gigi thank you so much, Ruth, for uplifting our show here at Native Roots Radio.
Sure. Madzigadods. Thank you both for your good work too, and uplifting our voices for sure.
Right on. So let's get to it. What's happening at the Minnesota Indian Resource Center? And there's so much good medicine that we talk about when we do talk about your organization, which I should say our organization. You're the CEO, but just great medicine. So what's happening?
Today we were going to have a women's sweat, but because of the heat, we have adjusted our schedule, and so we're offering a in-house ceremony, and that is led and coordinated by George Gogliai. I apologize, George. I'm still trying to get the pronunciation of your name, but we have relatives that will be here that have traveled from north of the medicine line from Canada. So we're excited to host our relatives from the north. And so we also have ongoing programming. Our doors are open, continue to remain open, and we're so thankful for everybody's support. We have the drop-in center that is fully staffed, and women can come in, take a shower, get connected to resources, and also get a snack bag full of like 9 different items. We are also, continuing to fundraise, and so miwrc.org/donate. We're so thankful for the community's support, ongoing support, and the various donors from across our country, across Indian country, that are contributing to the success of our services that we provide to those in most need.
Yeah, and I'd like to talk just a little bit for our listeners out there how important Minnesota Indian Women's Resource Center is here in the Twin Cities, because in like a few people show up once a week, we have a stream of people that need our help and services.
Yes, for sure. We have, just a revolving door of providing services to the community, whether it is prevention of evictions, whether it is getting connected to stabilized housing. We are also, we have a pretty solid family services program and department that helps keep families together, works for family reunification through the Indian Child Welfare Act, ICWA kinship care workers. We have an ICWA liaison that helps advocate in the courts. We have a family spirit home visitor worker, and she's bringing her little with her to work. And it's so amazing just to see a little newborn in the office space. And, we are Minnesota Indian Women's Resource Center. So we are happy to be in a place and space that contributes to the nurturing love and care that our relatives deserve and need. And so we also have traditional birthing, traditional healing, and our Nujamo program, which it translates into She Heals in the Ojibwe language, provides ongoing support for individuals and families who have been directly impacted by gender-based violence, which includes domestic violence, sexual assault, and also human trafficking. So it's ongoing work, but we continue to partner with existing organizations, and we're so thankful for the partnerships and the resources from community grassroots level to every level of government.
Wow, that's a mouthful, and that's awesome work. And the organization's been around for 40 years, so it isn't like it's brand new. But as all organizations go up and down, and really a big upswing right now since the excitement of you being sought after to run this organization here in Minnesota, which is just a great story in itself. That they wanted Ruth Buffalo, and Haley and I and our listeners, for the times that you've been on the show, know that that was such a great hire by Minnesota Indians Women's Resource Center.
MAICC, thank you. Yes, my family and community, thanks you, and thank you for your kind words. It's, definitely a big responsibility, making sure that our most vulnerable among us are well taken care of and deserve the love, care, and attention that they deserve, the respect and dignity. And so it's been good, and it's, really, I would much rather prefer working behind the scenes. Even before I got into public office, I was much more comfortable, being behind the scenes and being the worker bee workhorse. But then, community members then pushed me out in front, and then so on and so forth, but I would much rather be behind the scenes, keeping the organization moving forward and equipping our employees and staff with the skills, that they have within them, but to really push for our community members from the Phillips neighborhood to be out there and to be strengthening their voice and, working hard on behalf of all of us is really important.
Well, last week I was not being able to be on, and Haley did a great job hosting the show. Thank you so much, Haley. And and being comfortable, being able to talk to Ruth and know Ruth really helped out, and I really appreciate you guys doing that. And hopefully, maybe next segment here we can talk a little bit about what's going on. And seeing that I haven't talked to you in a week, I got the fever. I got the VP Harris fever. Maybe we can talk a little bit about that.
Sure. Yeah. It was fun visiting with Haley last week. We were gearing up for our community meeting. We've started monthly community meetings here at MIWRC. And so I was logging in through my phone, but what I noticed, it sort of, it magnifies my lisp. I noticed. I was like listening to it afterwards. I was like, dang, that lisp sounds pretty strong today.
Wow. Well, we can talk a little bit about that too if you want. All right. Great to have you on, Ruth. This is Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and we'll be right back.
We are your relatives.
We are your relations.
Brothers,
sisters,
sons,
daughters. And some of us are your grandchildren.
We are your community. Historically, we held places of honor and respect. Because of the impact of colonization, some of us are rejected, thrown out from family, friends, and community, set up as targets for sexual violence, sex trafficked, humiliated, tortured, and murdered. Everybody has the right to be safe. We are your relatives. Remember,
homophobia is not traditional.
Sponsored by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Hi, I'm Scott Shambot from Shambot Family Dentistry. We're the fear-free, shame-free dental office. We know dental anxiety and dental phobia are real. We'll take the time to get to know you and give you what you need to be comfortable at all times. We offer free nitrous oxide laughing gas and have high-tech options to help you feel calm and relaxed during your appointments. We'll help you get through every appointment in the most pain-free way possible. If you're having a dental emergency, we'll try and get you in the same day you call because we don't like to see anyone in pain. As my daughter Rachel says,
if you don't see my dad, please see another dentist. Take care of your teeth because they're the only ones you get.
This is Chad, owner of AM 950. I've been going to Shambot Family Dentistry for years. They get me in last minute when I'm in pain and make regular checkups easy and comfortable.
Shamblat Family Dentistry in Hopkins and St. Paul. Find them online at shamblatfamilydentistry.com or call 1-800-FIX-MY-TEETH.
Hi, this is Governor Walz. Thank you for listening to Native Roots Radio.
Hey, welcome back. This is Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake.
This portion of the show is supported by Native Concrete and Masonry. Check out their work at nativeconcretemasonry.com and give Chuck a call at 612-597-0421.
Absolutely. Give Chuck a call. Hey, we are here with Ruth Buffalo, and really it's fun. Minnesota Indian Women's Resource Center, the CEO, and it's really fun to talk and share with you. And even though I must be going hard of hearing as I'm getting older, because I've heard no lisp. I hear no lisp.
Maybe it's just me.
but I definitely say a lot. I do when I do listen to the show. I am the king of So I don't know.
So
hey, yeah. So let's go on. Yeah. No. So I was re-energized. Took me a good 12 hours to figure out that I was really excited and that the Democratic Party was not beating itself up and really supported a BIPOC woman for president. And that excited me, hearing that Vice President Harris got $100 million in 24 hours, hearing that people like Haley gave money, and hearing that that there's over 100,000 people now that are joined in helping and volunteering, and all these things that have made this last week and a half so exciting for me as a Democrat and as a voter.
Yeah, it's definitely been interesting, watching the news. And I know my daughter, she's 21, and she openly shared how it's exciting to see a woman, candidate again running for president. So I think it has generated a lot of excitement, and I think that's what's needed in getting voters engaged and out to vote for sure.
Yeah, well, the young ones are getting excited, and I believe in the last presidential election, Gen Z saved us again, along with the strong Native vote all over Turtle Island. And I know up north, people like making voting a tradition and Rock the Vote Native style. Signed over 9,000 new people to vote in Indian country, and for that, I think the Walz Flanagan administration, a lot of local and national governments are really happy about how Minnesota natives took charge.
Yes, for sure. We definitely have a big block as American Indian people, tribal people, Native people, and so it's important that those in decision-making arenas, in every level of government, that they do not take our vote for granted, and I remember in being in grad school in public health for a Master of Public Health, and our instructor shared, it was in an American Indian public policy class, American Indian public health policy class, and the term or the sentence that poor health is a result of poor policy really resonated with me back then, and it still does, because when you dive deeper and look at who is making the policies, who is behind these policies, and are they reflective of the communities they're representing, so it's important to hold our electeds accountable and make sure that funding is being distributed in the most respectful and meaningful way, to where it comes down to the people, trickles down to the people who need the help the most, like here in the Phillips neighborhood. For sure, there are some funding disparities, and we're thankful for our partners in every level of government, but our vote does count. But it definitely is a catalyst for change, for sure, and it doesn't end where our vote at the ballot box. It's, quite honestly, maybe just the beginning, but we definitely need to find parity in the distribution of funds, especially in this day and age where we have a high rates of opioid overdose and high rates of unhoused relatives, and all of the other the things that our relatives and our most vulnerable face on a daily basis.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess I want to ask you a personal question. What excites you? What gets you up every day? I know you've been working for your community wherever you are for a very long time, and you have to have some sort of thing that gets you going and gets you up every day. What excites you and gets you going?
Gosh, dang, that's a loaded question. Just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. Well, I mean, I do love spending time by the water wherever I'm at, and so I think summer is a nice time. I mean, anytime the water is like thawed, as a lifelong North Dakotan, with winter being at least 9 months, out of the year. But I think what gets me excited is just thinking of the future generations, really, and the responsibility that each of us have to do the best we can and do the most we can while we're here on this earth.
Yeah, great answer. And I think that's kind of what I was getting at too, is that I've seen so much change in my lifetime being 63. I was, 17 years old when we legally could practice our own religion, and that wasn't that long ago. And I know a lot's changed too. You're not even close to being as old as me, but you've seen a lot of change in your lifetime too.
Yes, for sure. I think it's, when you think of our parents and they're not very far removed from a lot of the harmful federal policies that that our communities survived or endured or tolerated through, so I think of that living memory and like our elders that are alive today are, our living truth, and so it's important to acknowledge our ancestors, our living relatives, and the future generations, because we were, put on this earth for a reason and in this moment together. So it's important that we do the most that we can while we're here, and be good to one another is so critically important.
Well, you mentioned your parents, and I cannot imagine what they went through, seeing that their land was flooded. Your land is underwater because of dams and the government doing us wrong. I can't imagine the how, because we're so attached to the land, how devastating that was for your family.
For sure, there's still indentions on the land where my grandma's dad would sit, and just spend the rest of his days looking out at the water where Elbow Woods used to be. Because when they got forcibly removed and relocated to rough, barren grazelands, to this area called Independence, which is west of Mandaree. But yeah, my great grandpa spent the rest of his days. He was quite elderly, and he had a log cabin next to my grandparents' house. But he would spend the rest of his days just gazing out at the water. And so to this day, there's like concave indentions on the land where there's no grass, from where he used to sit, and he would go from one tallest peak down to like through a dip or a coulee ravine, and then go to the other highest peak. And then when he get tired, sitting in this one area, he'd go to the other side. And but I know he spent a lot of time in prayer too, and I just want to acknowledge, that our ancestors, our relatives, were very prayerful, spiritual people, and that often gets lost in translation in today's day and age. But they were very, very spiritual people.
Well, and that's a really great point, and thanks for bringing that up. And I believe you're an answer to their prayers and the work that you've done, and being a state representative and things like that. So that's powerful medicine to hear, be reminded that we are people of prayer, and that's really good medicine. Thank you.
Odds, good odds. Thank you. Yeah, I had the opportunity to visit with a few women who are in town at the We Win conference out at Mystic Lake. So I had the opportunity to visit with a few women last night, yeah, we were, of course, a bunch of Native women, or American Indian women, tribal women get together. There's like joking and laughing and the Native humor. And so we were, cracking jokes. And yeah, that came up too about being the prayers, our ancestors' prayers, but we were having fun with it. And so it's, trying to, keep it light too. And it's good to come together and have some good laughs together with women from all over Indian country. So We Win is happening right now out at Mystic Lake, and I think it goes until tomorrow, Wednesday.
Yeah, absolutely. And I hear too, we only got a little bit left time here. I have also heard too that there's going to be an all call for Vice President Harris for all natives, or maybe it's Native women, the first round. I know they did BIPOC and Native women, and that was very successful and raised a lot of money, but also engaged our people.
Yes, for sure. It's what is it? September, almost August. So I think they putting my community member hat on, but I think they're going to have to kind of gain some traction because of the timeline in campaign season in November. So they got a lot of ground to cover and kind of have to make up for lost time, for sure.
Well, thank you so much. And I always want to say representative, but Ruth Buffalo, thank you, Big Peenigi, for being on and all the good medicine that you bring the community and us on Native Roots Radio. Again, thank you so much.
Mods good odds. Good to see you both.
All right. Hey, this is Native Roots Radio. We'll be right back after this short break. Minnesota has the only original wolf population in the continental United States.
And 80% of Minnesotans believe the wolf should be protected.
Howling for Wolves is asking Minnesotans to respect our true wildlife manager, the wolf.
Their survival is critical to our ecosystems, our communities, and even our economy.
As highly intelligent animals with strong social bonds, Minnesota wolves deserve to be protected and admired.
Learn more at howlingforwolves.org. Let's live and let howl.
Hey, it's Robert Pilot from Native Roots Radio here to tell you about the best window contractor in Minnesota, 952 Windows. Here's why I trust them in my home projects. 952 Windows is a part of Loyal Home, founded by former window light workers known for their ethics and quality. It's a top-notch remodeling company that's been flying under the radar for too long. They've even sold to competitors' employees who want top-tier quality for their homes. For the best in windows and doors, have 952 Windows take care of your next project. They offer the longest warranties and were rated Energy Star's most efficient in windows and doors. Believe me, I've known the owner for decades, so I can vouch for their excellence. They're not just about windows either. They're your go-to for roofing, siding, kitchens, bathrooms, and more. Plus, they've got you covered on onyx bath and rosebud cabinets. Trust me, you won't regret giving them a call at 952 Windows or 952windows.com. I heard sex trafficking happens a lot in Indian country. What is that?
Here are some of the real reasons why sex trafficking happens in Indian country. Unequal gender roles that were forced on us by colonization. Communities don't have enough resources. Silence around domestic and sexual violence. Lack of attention and justice for missing and murdered Indigenous people. There's a lot of behavior that keeps our communities out of balance. These are just a few true reasons why Native communities are targeted by traffickers. When these acts of violence happen in our communities, it opens us all up for exploitation.
Sponsored by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
The Powderhorn Art Fair is celebrating 33 years of community and local art on the weekend of August 3rd and 4th. This year's event will be the biggest yet with a record number of artists and vendors. Over 190 local and regional artists will exhibit their work, offering diverse art from clay and digital art to jewelry and woodwork. Floral and garden vendors will bring extravagant bouquets and blooming artistry to the park. And the Powderhorn Art Fair will highlight local businesses, arts nonprofits, and eco-conscious upcycle artists. Whether you're an art enthusiast or a casual buyer, there's something for everyone. Plus, enjoy sweet and savory treats from more than 20 food trucks. There's the kid-friendly family zone, packed with creative activities. And don't miss the on-site DJ providing vibrant sounds throughout the weekend. The Powderhorn Art Fair is free to the public with proceeds supporting PPNA community initiatives. Make plans to head to the Powderhorn Art Fair on Saturday and Sunday, August 3rd and 4th from 10 to 5 at Powderhorn Park in Minneapolis. More at powderhornartfair.com.
Hi, Matt McNeil here. I've had people ask if my son Charlie took our RAV4 from Rudy Luther Toyota on a cross-country road trip, and indeed he did. He headed west and saw the national parks of South Dakota, Montana, Utah, California, Arizona, Colorado, and then back home. He drove 5,000 miles. The RAV4 performed great, and he had a fantastic time. Not only was the RAV4 great on long highway stretches, but it easily handled the back roads too. And with the RAV4 Hybrid, the fuel efficiency was incredible, saving him a ton. Test drive the RAV4 today at Rudy Luther Toyota, 5 miles west of Minneapolis on 394.
With a look at your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Partly cloudy tonight with a low of 72, then hot sunshine Wednesday with a high of 90. For more than 40 years, the Great Wall Restaurant has been serving up Szechuan and Mandarin favorites. The Great Wall is located just north of 50th in France on the Minneapolis-Edina City line. Check them out at greatwallrestaurant.us.
This is Leonard Peltier. I am in Coleman 1, U.S. Penitentiary, and I'm listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by Native American Community Clinic on Franklin Avenue in Minneapolis, honoring health and tradition.
Yes, they do. Hey, we are here with our friend Jay Whiterabbit, who's Native American Community Coalition Director. It's so good to have you on. Welcome to Native Roots Radio, and thank you for finally being on the show, darn it.
Thank you for having me. It's taken a while, but here I am.
Right on.
Yeah, I am here. I was supposed to be here with Representative Keeler, and she'll be here soon, but we're just really, I'm at the DFL as the Native Community Coalitions Director, and we are focusing on getting the Native vote out and engaged for this election. As we know, it's crucial, as every election is, but especially this with everything that's going on, and now we have a candidate that I hope everyone is excited for and can get behind. Yeah, I'm really excited now.
Yeah, we are really excited about Vice President Harris, and it's really ignited. We were talking earlier tonight.
Yep.
Ignited Gen Z on how even Haley is like donating all her money too, and you won't
All my money.
You won't be moving out soon, Haley. You're donating all that money, but
Hey, she can have it.
Please pay me. I'm just kidding.
no, but that's cool. The excitement that the Gen Zs are bringing to this, and once you become a voter, if you're young and first time voter and able to vote, you become a lifelong voter.
For sure. My mom always talked about the importance of voting, and my mom would always say, if you don't vote, you can't complain. And so for the people who can't vote, it's like, I'm going to vote for you so you can also complain, you know? But because, yeah, I don't know. I think getting everyone excited and motivated. I was hearing earlier today that it feels like 2008. I know I was like 9 when that was going on, but the energy is really picking up. So I'm really excited and motivated to get all the natives out to vote this year in Minnesota, you know?
Yeah, that's a really good analogy, 2008. We feel like there's hope, and I think that's what Obama brought us. And now, Vice President Harris is going to bring the hope and make change.
For sure. Yeah, I think, and I've been on TikTok a lot recently, and everything that has been like the memes, how it's so good, so funny. And if you're not like moved to vote after that, I don't know, maybe you need to go on TikTok and spend some time to get motivated,
Yeah.
you know?
Whoever is, running Kamala's headquarters account is, very, I'm assuming Gen Z. I think it's a group of Gen Zers who are very, interested in targeting the Gen Z and kind of getting them informed, but also, in an entertaining way, but that's also truthful. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like the engagement, you have to meet people where they're at, and everyone knows, yeah, I vote, but what does that vote mean and how does it translate? Like Ruth was talking about earlier, yeah, it starts at the ballot box, but you got to hold your leaders accountable. And I think that Minnesota has done a good job in displaying that, and talks of Walz being vice president pick would be so cool, and what that means for Minnesota if he were to be picked, but I think meeting the voters where they're at and making everything accessible and understandable, because it's really not a hard process to understand, but it's just the initial of like, well, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to register to vote. You want me to drive an hour to go vote for who? This person doesn't care about me. What have they done? And so having those conversations is vital moving forward for sure.
Well, Jay, let's talk this scenario real quick, because I don't think we have on Native Roots Radio. And if Governor Walz becomes vice president candidate, who becomes governor?
The lieutenant governor, Peggy Flanagan, would become the governor, and then the lieutenant governor from there would be Senator Champion, because he's the Senate majority, I think, is the line of succession.
Okay.
So I think he would be which is good. He has a lot of policies. He's been there forever. He's very, he's in it. Like, he knows what's going on. He's a really good advocate. So I think if it happens, go Minnesota.
I'd be so happy with the first Native American governor, and she already is the highest
ranking woman.
Yep, in the country. Yep. Thank you for helping with that, Jay.
You're welcome. I'm sorry. I am very bad at completing people's sentences.
That's awesome. That'll be good when my Alzheimer's really kicks in. You can help me out.
Don't say that. I got yelled at one time because I would finish my mom's sentences, and I was sitting, and the lady sitting next to her, she's like, you shouldn't do that because it's gonna kill all her brain cells if she can't think for herself. And I was like, she's grown. What do you mean?
It's such a ADHD thing too, so don't worry about it.
Jay, do you remember when the fair a couple of years ago when I found out that I may have some Ojibwe blood in me?
I do remember that, and you told me not to tell anybody.
And then you told the lieutenant governor, and she came running back right away going, I knew you were cool.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow.
I had to. I can't. If she starts talking to me, I cannot. There's no filter. Whatever comes, I just feel like I need to confess my soul to her. I don't know. So you tell me a secret, the lieutenant governor's gonna know.
She's very approachable, very friendly, kind of. I think we do have Representative Heather Keeler on the line. Heather, are you there?
Hello, I'm here.
Hey.
Hi, Heather.
Sorry, I had to join from my phone, and so you don't get my great audio quality today.
Well, you sound pretty good. It's just we are really excited. And before you get any further here, I misspoke a few days ago saying that Arvina Martin was one of the best guest hosts on Native Roots Radio, and really, it's you, Heather. You're one of the greatest.
Oh, come on. Robert, I think what happened is I busted you guys because I was listening to you, because I love this radio show so much that I do listen to you guys when I'm not a guest. And I thought it was funny because you were, talking about, and she is really great. I do want to say that, but it was kind of funny. I had to razz you guys they tell all the guest hosts that they're the greatest, but kind of we said, low key, we should do some sort of guest hosting together, because her and I could probably have a blast if you ever needed a break.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'll need a break after Friday with my, I was informed by an elder, a Ho-Chunk elder, that I should not be talking about this, but there's a miracle of 2 babies coming Friday, so I may need some time off coming up. Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. Let me know.
That'd be fun.
I'll tune in.
Go ahead, Heather. We got Jay Whiterabbit here, and we've been just grilling her with questions, and now you can take over.
Yeah, how much time do I have left on the segment? I know I'm late and I don't have the visual cues, so somebody's gonna have to tell me when I'm talking too much. But I love that you guys allowed us to come on. I've been working with Jay. Often I show up as the representative, but for us to do the job as legislators, we always have to go out and campaign. And I think you've had both the lieutenant governors on from Minnesota and Wisconsin lately talking about the importance. But Jay and I have been working on some really fun activities that are going on Monday. And we're really trying to launch a nationwide Native engagement launch starting on Friday. So Jay, do you want to talk a little bit about where that stemmed from and what it's grown into and where some of these events are taking place?
Yeah, so we have been working on getting an event going at Red Lake. So my program is finally launching this week. It's been a lot of work developing and getting ideas and everything, but we are having our launch event on August 5th. There's going to be two, one in Red Lake from 5 to 7 at Oshkeys at the event center. It's called Walleye Dinner and Voter Rights. So we're going to be having food and having the candidates come and speak at Red Lake, the local ones. Heather will be there, and we will be just getting to know and like going through the process of what it takes to register to vote, like we talked about earlier, who can vote now with the new legislative sessions and all the great work that they did. And yeah, just get to be in community and be around people. I think it'll be a really fun event. And then, so that's in the one in Red Lake. And then the one in Minneapolis is at the Minneapolis American Indian Center from 4 to 6 in the grandfather's room. And we will be having tacos catered by Gatherings and some candidates, and basically the same thing, just in a different location, so we can get everything going and make the ask for door knocking on the following Saturday, so you can go door knock in your communities and really hit the ground running and get Natives engaged and excited about this election.
Yeah, it's really exciting that we get to do this, because I know with our, Native population, the one thing I hear often, because I didn't seek out politics, it kind of just found me because I was a voice for Indigenous rights for a long time and Indian education and Indigenous Peoples Day. But, I hear a lot that Native people don't want to vote in the quote unquote white government, right? They only want to participate in tribal elections. But I want to caution all of us that that's so dangerous, because the state actually funnels a lot of money to counties that then are supposed to go directly to tribes. We also have set up a lot of mechanisms to go directly to our tribes, especially here in Minnesota. And so, we really want to build these trusting relationships with our tribal nations and our tribal people of Minnesota to know that they very much are, dual citizens, and their voice matters in both of those spaces. And so I think we're setting up a great event in both places to engage. And like Jay said, we just need to talk to people about how you register to vote. How do you get your voice even heard in this big game of voting? And so I'm really excited about it. I hope, maybe if we can share some links with you guys, you can share out some of the flyers and some of the information so we can get that spread around quickly.
Yeah, we can talk about this for the next few days for sure too, and maybe even try and make it down there for that event. It sounds really good, Heather. We got 30 seconds left, and we're going to take a quick break here, but we're here with State Representative Heather Keeler and Jay Whiterabbit, and the Ho-Chunks are taking over here in Minnesota. Good one there, Jay. Even though you live in Hudson.
Hey, don't out me like that. Don't out me like that.
Just kidding. Hey, this is Native Roots Radio, and Jay lives in Minnesota. We'll be right back after the short break.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Bonjour, hello. My name is Wabin. I am an enrolled member of the White Earth Nation, descendant of the Navajo Nation, and co-chair of the Indigenous Employee Resource Group with the Minnesota Department of Transportation. MnDOT is hiring for a variety of positions from road maintenance to accounting and more. We offer great benefits. For more information or to set up a one-on-one resume and application assistance, visit mn.gov/careers, or you can text or call 612-257-2388. 612-257-2388.
Hi, I'm Chuck Manette, owner of Native Concrete and Masonry. With concrete and masonry adding substantial value to your home, it's always a great idea to repair your sidewalks or just add a beautiful new patio. Cracks or heaving in your sidewalks due to tree roots can be dangerous. Native Concrete and Masonry has helped clients across the metro to make their outdoor space safer and helped increase the value to their homes. For patios, sidewalks, driveways, or garage slabs, go to nativeconcretemasonry.com.
J&S Bean Factory is a native-owned, community-supported, cozy, artsy coffee shop which offers roasted on-site beans, live music, and baked goods. Relax in the beautiful outside patio. City Pages writes, voted top 10 coffee shops. Tucked into a quiet corner of St. Paul's Highland Park neighborhood, this coffee shop roasts beans on-site from the best coffee-growing countries in the world. Located at 1518 Randolph Avenue, St. Paul. The good stuff.
Hi, this is Representative Sharice Davids from Kansas. I'm Ho Chunk, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by Howling for Wolves, protecting wolves for future generations.
Okay, we didn't hear Jay. We heard State Representative. Oh, there. Oh, solo.
I was muted. I had to get my moment,
That was good. We did a little solo there. Hey, we're here with Representative Heather Keeler and Jay Whiterabbit, and Haley and I are taking the rest of the day off. Go ahead, Heather.
Cool. So I'm out on the res, so sorry if my service gets kind of shoddy, but we were just talking about voter engagement, and I think that's really important. Often people come to the table and are like, get behind this candidate, and that's really important. I want to challenge us all to ask questions, particularly around sovereignty and how any of the candidates plan to, support longevity around sovereignty, get our land back, get our water back, different things like that. But we can't even get a part of that conversation if we're not even registered to play the game. And so a lot of what Jay and I are really focused on right now is those new voters, whether it's because of your age, whether it's because you moved to our state, whether it's because of, like we said, recent legislative changes we've been able to change. And so I'm going to pass it over to Jay. Jay, do you want to talk to us a little bit about a website they can go to or a place that individuals can go and how easy it is to actually register to vote here in Minnesota?
For sure. So if you go to if you need any resources when it comes to voting, the Minnesota DFL has a lot of great resources. If you go there and then there's a top that says voter information, any link that you can need, any frequently asked questions like, can I vote? Who's on my ballot? What does it take? There's links that'll take you right there. Registering to vote, you can go to the Secretary of State website and it's a quick online, it's so easy. I followed a link on Facebook when I first got when I first registered to vote when I turned 18, I got a notification on Facebook, oh, you can register to vote. I clicked that, filled it out. And so I think it's really cool that everything's accessible and online, but it's also okay, well now it is, so let's get the word out and realize how easy it is. If you want to know who's on your ballot, you can also you can Google who's on my ballot, type in your area code or your address maybe, and then it'll pull up exactly who's on your ballot. And then if you research your candidates for sure, like Heather was talking about, make sure that they care about natives and it's not just a given that we're going to vote for them, you know what I mean? But there's a lot of really, really great resources out here, and I'd be happy to pass those along for you to put out too.
I know that on a lot of our campaign websites too, when it gets kind of closer to some of these dates, a lot of your candidates will have links on their websites. I know a lot of people just try to make it very, very, very easy. And so, this is also where you can be a good friend. There are a lot of things on the ballot, and, let's not get into the long list of them, but, just Indigenous rights in general, right? Literally sovereignty is on the ballot right now. And if anybody thinks I'm kidding, we're not. And it's vital that we really, really, really show up. So if you're going to walk through and learn how to register yourself, be that friend or that niece or that relative that then is helping other people next to you get their voice in this game with us. Because some of these races, I remember growing up and my dad would be like, well, I'm not going to vote because my guy's never going to win. And that's such a scary mind frame to be in, because our votes really, 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 really matter. And some of these state seats are like 10 to 20 votes are determining who is serving in these seats. Well, if you think like you and your friends, you really could impact the outcome of some of these elected officials. And so I want you to know your power, want you to know your group's power, and really engaging. And so I think that's important. I think Jay gave some really great information, but also get engaged. The next step is, it's one thing to sign up and vote and say you did your democratic duty or your voting duty, but getting engaged in being part of the change and creating the future that we want for our kids is also what we need. We saw Representative Jamie Becker-Finn retire this year after 8 years. That's really not that long. We see white male colleagues stay in this position for 20 to 25 years. The work is hard for us as Indigenous people. And so think about getting involved in a campaign. Think about helping with a fundraiser. Think about joining Jay and all of the amazing opportunities that she's going to have, so you can start to learn how to be in these seats of change, because we're going to need you. We need all of you to be courageous and step into some sort of space of change. And sometimes that starts with just registering to vote and spending some time on one event. Jay, what other events do you have coming up, in the next couple months that maybe we can just start to put on some people's radar?
Oh, for sure. We will be having weekly events. I have weekly phone banking. If anybody wants to, I'm opening my home up and having people come over and phone bank. So it's like a phone banking party. Food will be provided. So hit me up if you want to come and have a party at my house and invite people to events, get them, are they voting? Are they registered to vote? What can we do to help make their life easier to get involved? But I know some big key dates that are coming up are September. I know we have ones closer to this, but I'll do like the big ones for sure. September 24th is the day, voter registration day, or National Voter Registration Day. So we're going to have 24 hours to get as many people registered to vote as we possibly can. So we'll probably, I don't know if I can say this, but we're planning on having like a community concert. So having local artists and then candidates have like a music festival type of thing. It's in the works. Stay tuned, hopefully. Another event, the primary is on August 13th. So make sure that you're getting your early vote in to decide who's on the ballot in November. Very important. Then October 5th is a month out, and we will be having, that's the first day of early voting, I believe, for the general election. Correct me if I'm wrong. I know I should know that, but I don't know.
No, that's so good, and those dates are right. But I think I want to highlight like why that October date is so important, because if you're like me, I have a kid that's going off to college, and it's important for him because he wants to be able to vote for his local representative, which is his mom, but also just because he really feels like he wants his voice to matter in his home community. And so do you want to talk a little bit about, like, if you have a kid that's going off to college, what are the options that they maybe have? Because I think for my community, I know, because I have a higher education institution, it gets a little tricky. And so a lot of our college age students just kind of say, nah, we're not going to do it because we don't know where we should or could vote. Do you want to talk a little bit about those options, Jay?
Yeah, so I know also there's a lot of districts in Minnesota that are also mail-in ballot only. So I think if you request your absentee mail-in voting ballot, I think that starts October 5th. And then you can do mail-in voting up until the election, as long as it gets to where it needs to go by November 5th. And then I think you're able to register at the college that you go to. If you live on campus, you're able to register there. So if you rather do it either at your house or where your address is or where you live at college, I know that makes a difference for people, but you're able to register wherever is, like, it's so easy, but again, people just don't know, so they just don't do it.
Right, so college kids are they get to sort of choose. We have some college kids that really want, like my son, He really wants to stay invested in Moorhead. That's a community he wants to come back to. He feels like he wants to be a part of the future decisions of that community, and that's okay. So if you have a senior that's going off to college and they want to stay registered at home, great. Also, if they are going off to college and they feel like they really want to engage in that community, all they need is their student ID and they can use their dorm as their address, and that's fine as well. One of the things we did is we made voting accessible on college campuses again. I don't know if you kind of remember before, we used to have voting options on college campuses, and then that kind of shifted a little bit more, and we realized that we have to make voting accessible for the population that maybe doesn't have transportation as much as other people do. And so adding some sites on college campuses is important. So for those of you who have those college-age kids, top of mind for me because I'm one of those moms with y'all, talk to your kids and talk to your kids about the importance of them deeply understanding the power of politics. I think it's really important.
State Representative Big P. McGee, thank you so much for coming on. Jay Whiterabbit, keep it real. Thank you so much for coming on. This has been Native Roots Radio Presents I'm Awake. We're still here. We are the 7th generation.
And free Leonard Peltier now.
This is Chad, owner of AM 950, here to tell you about the exterior construction